Well, I'm joined now by the Secretary General of the Nigerian Guild of Editors, Iyobosa, Uwugiaren, and good to see you. And this is heartbreaking. And first, let's talk about what the Guild did. First, there was an outright silence from the military, and everyone thought it wasn't the military. But today, from the accounts and from the intel, the Nigerian journalists gathered was that it was actually the military.
Suleiman, I think it is a very sad story. Like you said, when he was arrested about 13 days ago, and after the wife, the publisher of the newspaper raised the alarm, and we made all efforts to get in touch with the federal government authority to confirm where the guy was taken to. We were in touch with the DSS office, the police, the Office of the National Security Advisor, the Minister of Information, and they said they've made their own contact and nobody had been able to confirm where the guy was being kept. So we keep on issuing statement appealing to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to order his release. And the more we press for that, the more they kept on telling us, look, we don't know where this guy was being kept. So after some days, we were in touch with the Nigerian Union of Journalists, the International Press Institute, and we told them that there's need for us to organize ourselves and see how we can make a collective effort to get to know where this guy is. But unfortunately, one of the group, International Press Institute, was able to track him to the Defense Intelligence Agency facility, and even when they tracked him to that facilities, and we called the defense chiefs and the guy in charge, and they denied. We even called we even got in touch with National Security Advisor. They also denied. We got in touch with Minister of Information. They denied. But the more they denied, the more our source from there kept telling us that there's need for us to move very fast to save the life of this guy. So last night we sent out invitation that we're going to have a world press conference today to alert the world about what is happening. It was at that point that they got in touch with the Minister of Information and confirmed that the guy was actually with them. That was last night. And the Minister of Information quickly asked them to release the guy, otherwise they will be in trouble. And they promised they were going to release this guy this morning. And there was an attempt to ask us to call off the press conference. And we said, no, we're not going to call off the press conference. Because if some military guys still believe that they are above the law or still find it very difficult to subject themselves to civil authority, then there's a problem. How can a DIA agent, for example, lie to the National Security Advisor, lie to the Minister of Information and other senior government officials about the whereabouts of Segun Olatunji? For us, that is our concern, and we believe that it's not something we can just gloss over. There's need for the president to take immediate action and investigate the matter and see how they can punish those who were involved in such bad behavior.
You know, now you're hitting home, talking about the president, a man over the years who's been a friend of the media, who's been an advocate of free press. And now this is happening in his regime, using state powers, state resources, state aircraft and everything to abduct someone, because we're also dealing off forced disappearance. If the international press had not tracked Olatunji and he had died in detention, certainly no one would have said anything. So how do you push this further, knowing full well that the dynamics, or rather the optics, are not looking good for the president who's pushing for rights of every Nigerian, and the same military is taking us back to the dark days?
Yeah, Suleiman, I can tell you that the president wasn't even aware of the incident. That we know. Even the National Security Advisor wasn't even aware. Even when the man made an inquiry to find out whether Segun Olatunji was then, they denied.
But quickly, so, he also mentioned the president's chief of staff in some of the story that may have been one of the reasons he was abducted. Shouldn't the chief of staff office be speaking on this now? Because there are a lot of people that should speak up on this. Otherwise, our democracy is so threatened, as it were.
I agree with you. You know, the issue of Olatunji adoption was not just about his arrest or detention, but it's also about protecting our democracy. I can tell you that there are still some officers within the military who are still finding it very difficult to subject themselves to civil authority. Now, let me give you a very frightening incident that happened this morning. When they called this morning that they were going to release him, they called one of our colleagues, Uwugiaren, and the guy called me and said we should go together. So we went there. On our way going there, they asked us to wait for them. Catholic Church in Asokoro. They said we should wait at the front of the church. We waited there. So when we got there, we called them and said we were already there. They asked us to wait. And 5 minutes later, they called and said that we should reverse and start moving towards the DSS quarters. As we're going there, they called to say, okay, what car are we using? We told them the car, the vehicle number. And as we're moving, when we got to a certain place under the bridge, they said we should stop. We stopped there. Suddenly we met them there. And they asked us to come down and sign a bond bill for
on the road?
On the road, under the bridge. They don't even allow us to go to their facilities. They released Segun Olatunji to us under the bridge along Asokoro Express Road. That's exactly what they did this morning. So I'm also saying that there's a frightening dimension to the whole issue, you know. And for a government that is headed by a president who has all his life, you know, be fighting fighting to deepen the democratic space, who is a friend of the media, who also owns so many newspaper houses, television and radio stations. I don't think this thing is something we should tolerate. And especially when these people also disobey the office of the National Security Advisor, who's supposed to be, you know, supervising their activities. So there's a frightening dimension to it. So we cannot allow these people to begin to rubbish the democratic space that we're currently enjoying. So there's need for the president, you know, to dig into the matter, find out what happened, what actually happened, how could they have, moved the aircraft to begin to pick just somebody because of a story. We're not under the military government. We're not a civilian. We're under democratic space, you know. So I think those are something we need to investigate very well. We need to interrogate very well. But I can tell you that this is not the end of the matter. In the next few days, the NUJ, the Nigerian Guild of Editors, and IPI will meet with some stakeholders, including people from the civil society group, and see how we can thoroughly interrogate this matter, because the action of the DIA is a serious threat to our democracies, and we must not allow it to continue. Because if we don't do something now, it's likely that in the next few days or few weeks or few months, they will take a step further. So we cannot allow that. We are even considering legal action against them. So everything we need to sit down to consider what we need to do. Well,
Iyobosa, Uwugiaren, we'd like to thank you for your time, and of course, as you said, the president, and of course, his chief of staff must speak on this, and the DIA should also say something of what they know about these Gestapo-style colleagues of theirs acting on the bridge in Abuja after abduction of a Nigerian journalist.